Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to talk about 7 steps to protect your Linux servers from hackers. Myself Mohammed Zubair and this channel is all about showing you how to become a highly paid IT pro really fast. So without any further ado, let's get started. Well, just like any other operating system, Linux distributions and Linux servers also vulnerable to hackers, although they are considered more safe as compared to Windows operating system and other operating systems, but still, there are some things that we should perform in order to have another layer of security. So let's see what are those things. Number 1. Enable auto updates. Well, as we know that we can use the command as sudo space apt space update to update our system. Same goes for our servers. Because with the updates, we get all the latest updates in our system along with the security patches. And it makes sure that our system has all the latest thing and it is not vulnerable to hackers and different viruses. After the update, we also upgrade our system. So that's a really good practice. But what if we forget to update our system and there is some security patch that have been released for our server? In that circumstance, we can auto update our system. And to do this, we need to download a utility. Command for that is sudo space apt space install space unattended hyphen upgrades. After that, hit enter. I have already downloaded it. Let me clear my terminal and now we need to set this up. Command for that is dpkg hyphen reconfigure space hyphen hyphen priority equals to low space unattended hyphen upgrades, and after that you just need to hit enter. And here it says it must be run as root. So I'll use the same command, but this time I'll use it as sudo user. And now hit enter. And here it is asking if we want to download and install the stable updates. Yes, obviously we want to download and install the updates automatically. So I'll go with the yes option and I'll press enter. And we are good to go, as you can see. Now let me clear my terminal and let's move ahead. Number 2. Use disk partitioning. Well, it is always a better practice to keep our operating system separate from our data files. For example, you might have seen in the Windows operating system that by default in the C directory, we get our Windows operating system. And in D, E and other directories, we can store our files or data. You can do the same in Linux distributions. As in Linux distribution, we get different partition. We can specify that in what partition we want to keep our operating system, and on the rest of the system we can have our data and files. So first of all, let me show you my partition in my system. Command for that is lsblk, that stands for list block. Hit enter. So if you see here, I have SDA1 as a disk and total size of it is 25 gigabytes. And down here I have 3 partitions as SDA1, SDA2 and SDA3. So now I'll show you that how you can create more partitions. Command for that is sudo space fdisk space / dev, which means devices / SDA, which is our disk. I'll hit enter. Now it is asking for the command. As we want to create a new partition, I'll press N, hit enter, and here it is asking us about the partition number. Well, as you can see, we already have 3 of them. That is why we'll go with 4. So I'll press 4, hit enter. Here it is asking us about the first sector. If you do not know this, do not worry, just hit enter. And here it is asking us about the last sector. Well, here you have to specify the size for the partition that you want to have. For example, I want to make a partition with the size of 100 megabytes. So for that purpose, I'll write here plus 100 capital M. And if you wanted to go for gigabytes, you could have right here plus 10G. It means 10 gigabytes. Hit enter. It says value out of range. If you see something like this, just hit enter and it will take the value that is available on its own. So here we have successfully created a partition into our system. So now in order to write the changes, press W, hit enter, and we are out of it. Let's clear our terminal and let's move ahead. Number 3, add a user. Well, it is not considered as a good practice to use the Linux distributions and server as a root user, especially when you are online, because there are very high chances that your system might get hacked or compromised. So make sure to use the system not as the root user. So for that, what you can do, you can create a new user in your system and then you can use that user as a sudo user with the sudo privileges. And now you will have less chances of your system getting compromised or hacked. As you can see, now I'm already using my system as user 2. Now let's add another user. For that, we have a command is sudo space add user. Give it a space and write the name for the user that you want to create. I'll name my user as user1. Hit enter. Here it is asking for its password. I'll write its password, hit enter, and I'll again write the password and hit enter. Here it is asking for the further information. Do not worry, you can write this information or you can leave it. If you want to leave it, keep pressing enter and you are good to go. Now, we need to add this user into sudo groups. Otherwise, this user will not be able to use this system. First of all, let's log out from user2. Hit enter, and now I'll write here user1, hit enter, and I'll have its password. Here you can see now we are using the system as user1. Let's write here sudo apt install ufw, hit enter. I'll have my password, hit enter once again. Here it says user1 is not in the sudo's file. So for that purpose, we need to add this particular user into sudo's list. To add our user into our sudo's list, we have to log out from this user. So I'll write here logout. Now here I'll log in back with my super user. I'll have its password, and now I'll add my user1 into sudo's list. Command for that is usermod space -a capital G, give it a space, and then write here sudo space username, which is user1 in my case. Okay, it says permission denied, so we have to use this command as the sudo user. Hit enter. And we have successfully added our user1 into sudo's list. Let's log out from here and let's log in back as a user1. So I'll hit enter, I'll have my password, hit enter once again, and let's write here sudo space apt update and hit enter. This is working. It means we have successfully added our user into a sudo list. So make sure to create your user and try to use your server with other users instead of using your system as a root user, because it will minimize the chances of your system getting hacked. Because if the root user gets hacked or compromised, there is no guarantee that the rest of the system will remain safe. Number 4, no password. Well, this might be surprising for you that how can we use our system without a password? Well, do not worry, there are several ways that we can use instead of using our password directly, because passwords are relatively easy to hack. So what you can do, you can brute force different methods to hack or crack any password. So for that purpose, I'll create a directory and then I'll have a public and private key. And with the help of public and private key, I'll access my servers whenever I want to access it remotely. So first of all, we need to create a directory. I'll write here mkdir space and I'll go into my home directory /.ssh. I have already created it, but I'm just showing it to you. I'll hit enter. Now I need to change the permissions for this particular directory. So I'll write here chmod space 700. It means all the permissions for the owner and no permission for group and no permission for other users. I'll give it a space. Again, I'll go to my home directory /.ssh. It means only the owner can access this particular directory. Now we need to create a key. So for that purpose, command is ssh hyphen keygen, which is key generation or key generator, space -b. Give it a space and write here size of your key. I'll go with 4096, hit enter. It says generating public private key, and let's wait for the process to get complete. Okay, this is the default location where this key is going to get saved. Yes, I want to save it in here, so I'll press enter. Here it says enter passphrase. I do not want, so I'll hit enter. It says enter same phrase again. I'll just hit enter, and we have successfully created our public and private key. And now let's go to our SSH directory and let's see if we have successfully created our public and private keys or not. So I'll write here cd space home/.ssh. I'll hit enter. If I ls here you can see here I have id_rsa and id_rsa.pub. .pub is the public key and id_rsa is my private key. Now what I need to do, I need to upload my public key to my Linux server so that whenever I want to access my server, I can use that and my server can authorize me. So for that purpose, I'll write here ssh hyphen copy hyphen id, give it a space user1 and hit enter, and you are good to go. Here it is uploading it, and then we'll move ahead. Number 5. No passwords throughout the server. As we have just used the authorization process with public and private key, because there are chances that our password can be hacked easily, so for that purpose, I can make sure that no other users uses the password to access the server. Because if one of the user is compromised, the whole server can be vulnerable to hackers. So first of all, I'll go to a file and I'll edit it. Command for that is sudo space nano space /etc/sshd_config and hit enter. In this particular file here, you can see here we have port 22. Well, SSH uses the port 22 by default. You can change it, because if you know that SSH uses the port number 22, hacker also know that. So it means your system is vulnerable. You can define another port. I'll write here 770. Here it says address family equal to any. Address family means IPv4 or IPv6. Well, I only want to use IPv4 or I only want to allow IPv4 traffic. So for that purpose, I'll write here INET or INET. Now IPv4 will only be allowed onto my server. And then after that, here it says permit root login, prohibited password. What we need to do, we need to change it. So I'll just remove prohibit-password and I'll write here no, because I do not want my user to use password. I'll remove the hash because it's a commented line. Now we are good to go. And now let's come to the bottom of this particular file, because there is one more thing that we need to change. Here it says password authentication as yes. We need to change it. So I'll write here no. After that, press Ctrl X to get out of this, press Y to save the changes and hit enter. Now we need to restart our SSD service. Command for that is sudo space systemctl space restart space sshd, because SSH is a daemon service. Hit enter. Now let's get out of this. I'll write here cd and I'll clear my terminal. Number 6. Install a firewall. Well, having a firewall makes sure that our system remains safe, or you also can say that it is an extra layer of security. I'll use a command here as sudo space ss space hyphen tunlp, hit enter. If you see here, we have different ports that are available and they are open. In terms of UDP, 53 is open. In terms of TCP, 10050702553. These are different ports that are open. And if you remember, we allowed or we created port number 770. Now what I want to do, I want my traffic to only come and go from the port number 770, and I want to deny rest of the traffic. So how can I do that? For that purpose, first of all, I'll install a firewall, and that is sudo space apt space install space UFW, which stands for Ubuntu Firewall, and hit enter. I have already installed it. Now what we need to do, we need to add a rule into this particular firewall. Command for that is sudo space UFW space allow space 770. It means any traffic coming from 770 will be allowed. Here it says rules updated. Now we need to enable our UFW. So I'll write here sudo space UFW space enable, hit enter, and it says firewall is active and enabled on system startup. It means when you will restart your system, your firewall will be up along with that. Number 7. Install Logwatch. While applications on our servers often save different log messages to log files, and unless we intend to manually monitor our log files, we need to install a utility, or you can say an application, and that is called as Logwatch. Logwatch scans the system log files and then summarizes them. Well, we can directly run it from our command line, or we can schedule it to run on recurring schedule. And not only that, you can also configure your Logwatch to email you daily summary of your log files, monthly basis or on your week basis as well. But for that purpose, your server must have the ability to send the emails for this to work. Now let's install our Logwatch. Command for that is sudo space apt-get space install space Logwatch and hit enter. I have already done that and now we are good to go. There is a directory in Logwatch that you can access, and that will allow you to read and summarize a log file. You can see all of the stock services that Logwatch offers in a directory as sudo space nano space slash share slash logwatch slash default.conf. After that again slash and right here logwatch.conf. Hit enter. So this is the file where you'll see all the services and all the things that you can do. So from here basically you can try running Logwatch directly in case you need to see a sample of what it collects. For example, here we have our user bin slash logwatch, we have output, we have our format, here we have encode, etc. So this is how you can make sure that you have all the logs of your system, and with your logs you can make sure that there is no unsophisticated or there is some fishy traffic into your system. So make sure to install Logwatch into your Linux server. I'll just get out of this and now let me clear my terminal, and that was all about the 7 things that you should do in order to make sure that your server is safe. At the end, I'll tell you one bonus thing, and that is perform your security audits. Well, after securing your Linux server, you should perform your security audits so that you can spot any security loopholes if there are any. To do this, we can use Linus, that is an open source software, and it can perform security audits, penetration testing, system hardening, vulnerability detection, and many other things. Now, question is, how can we use Linus into our Linux server? Now, to install Linus in your system, use the command as sudo space apt space install space Linus and hit enter. Press Y from here and hit enter, and let's wait for the process to get complete. After you are done installing your Linus into your Linux distribution or into your Linux server, basically, you can use it to run for your edits. I'll clear my terminal and now I'll show you that how you can run it. I'll write here Linus space audit space system and I'll hit enter. Here it has started the process and you can audit your system with this tool easily. So that was all about that how you can make sure that you can keep your Linux server safe from the hackers. And I hope now that you must have liked watching this video. If that is the case, please leave a like, subscribe and press the bell icon. And if you have anything to ask, please leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Till the next video, take care.